Hey everybody out there, Brian with ProFig. Hey, today we are going to graft onto an existing fig tree and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's get started. Okay, so this is Coldodame Grease, one of my favorite trees here. I feel like I'm going to go ahead and add onto this tree. It performs really well, but my other tree next to me is pretty loaded up with grafts already. And I'm just kind of looking for areas to graft, like what are the types of branches you want to look for. First off, let's start with eliminating branches, okay? So this branch right here doesn't even need to be here, so this could be removed. We're not going to graft onto that. This one's pointing straight up into the sky, probably not a good one either. Most of these are already kind of high. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to go down a little bit lower. You don't want to take any that are like, see these goofball branches that are going down, curving? That needs to be removed. Any of the branches that are kind of heading, downward like this, like if you can get a perspective here, those are heading down. You don't want to use those. That's a beautiful branch right here. It's lower, but going up and to the side. This one too. This one too, if you have some thinner scions. All these look pretty good that I'm pointing out. I really like this one here because it's low and it'll probably match the scion really good. So here's another one right here. And these thicker branches are good too. But let's talk about the tools that we need to graft. First, let's start with the grafting knife. It doesn't have to be some fancy grafting knife. I was gifted this. But you could use a few of the different ones that are on Amazon. They're cheap. Or you could use X-Acto knives or razor blades. It needs to be really, really sharp, but don't make it too complicated if you are only going to do a few grafts, okay? It doesn't need to be some high-end grafting knife. So this is my knife here. And then you're going to need parafilm, okay? Parafilm is a waxy, stretchy tape that we're going to be wrapping around the scion. Very important that you don't get the stuff that looks like cling wrap, okay? This is way different. The buds go through this easily. Next one is our grafting bands, okay? So grafting bands we use for grafting, obviously. They're flat, kind of like a rubber band. You could use rubber bands too. I've used them before, but I just prefer grafting bands. You need a little whittling board. I like wood because this is what we're gonna whittle our scion on, okay? You don't wanna use metal or anything that's gonna dull the blade of your knife. You should have a paint pen because you're gonna need to write the name of the variety on your graft. And then foil. The foil is going to go over the graft at the end, so it's going to protect it from the sun, because if you leave it unprotected, the direct sun will break away that waxy tape really fast. And then finally, you need a glove. This is my safety glove right here. So this goes on the hand that will be holding the scion as you whittle, okay? Okay, so here's our scion. I know a lot of you are getting our grafting packs right now. And so this scion right here is basically 2 grafts. So you could see a bud. There's a lot of buds on here. You only need 1 or 2, okay? I'm probably gonna need to remove this bottom one here, and I'm gonna cut this into 2 pieces, and we're gonna graft it right next to each other. So we'll get a 50-50 shot here. So hopefully one of them will take. So we'll go ahead and cut it and start whittling it down. Okay, and then let's take a look here to see if we're even in the same zip code for size-wise. You kind of look, it looks like it matches up pretty good. Maybe a little bit better on this one right here. Now keep in mind, guys, it does not need to be perfect. I really like the rootstock to be a bit bigger or the same as the scion. You don't want the scion larger than the rootstock. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And what I mean by that is, like, you see this skinny scion rootstock, that just isn't gonna work, okay? So stay away from those. Like this is fine right here. But I really like this spot right here. Looks really good. It matches up really well. And I could probably do a graft there. And then I think we'll go right next door and do the graft there of this variety. So let's cut them and then start whittling them down. All right. So we have the tools of the trade here. Okay, so I'm going to be whittling it on this piece of wood. I carry this in my toolbox because it's not too big and it's just the right size. So I'm going to be doing a cleft graft today, so you guys know. And this bud right here is useless, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Okay, and we're going to be using this area right here. We're going to be whittling it down. Okay, so I just kind of put it on here like this. Okay, and I'm going to put on my glove. I'm telling you, everybody's cut themselves, so you will eventually cut yourself. Okay, so this is it right here. Okay, I have it against the wood, and we're just going to go short, just nice easy strokes like that. And the other side needs to be flat. Okay, we're going to flip it over. Okay, and there's no rush. Nice easy strokes. You can tell these are really healthy cuttings Anise sent me. Nice bright green cambium layers. Exactly what you want. So with grafting, when you get good with grafting, you should probably have about an 80% take rate versus cuttings, rooting cuttings, 60, 70%. That's if you're good too. And that's after years of messing with them. So what I like to do, like if I get a really rare variety, like when I got Angelito back in the day, I grafted it onto my Galicia tree in case I lost the mother tree. So this is good to put backups of your top varieties onto an existing tree in case it dies. Sometimes they die. We have gopher problems. And sometimes, like, I'll give you an example, like Colda de Marmota one year. I just died to the ground and never came back. Well, actually it did come back, but yellow figs. But it does no good. So we're almost there. Getting there. Looking good. I'm just gonna kind of whittle this side down a little bit right here. Just light. You're just taking off the top layer. Okay, and this white stuff people talk about, that's the pith. That's what dries up as they go dormant. It's like where the food goes through. It's like the intestines right there, though. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Okay, and now we're going to cut it into 2 pieces. Oh, dropped it, sorry. Okay, so this is our number 1 graft, the scion right here. So this looks really good. I'm really happy with the way this looks. It's got a lot of room right here to touch. And then you see I left a lot of space down below on this next one here that we're gonna whittle. Okay. So your whole goal is you're wedging this into the rootstock. Okay, so you want this point to be nice and sharp. Just nice and easy. It was a little firm. This one does not. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Nice and easy. This one's getting off track already. So it doesn't always work out perfectly, but you can correct it if you see where it's getting off. So you see this one kind of, pith kind of came out a little bit. It's not a problem, doesn't matter, okay? Still looks pretty good. So this one, you see, we have the terminal bud here. Having the terminal bud is like an extra sealant, but you still need to wrap it with parafilm, okay? So these are our two, scions we're gonna graft today, okay? Now we need to label them. Okay, and I gotta remember how to spell it. Okay, and this is, look at this spelling. Look at that. Q-U-K. Wait, K-U-Q, oh my gosh. K-U-Q-A, flash. Okay, there it is. Let it dry for a sec. I'm gonna do the next one. K-U-Q, a lash. Okay. I know you guys are used to me going really fast, but this is a YouTube video, so I'm gonna take my time. You guys could fast forward if I bored you. Okay, so we have these ready to go. Now we need to do the next step, which is wrap them with parafilm. Okay. So our parafilm is real stretchy. See how it stretches, okay? Very important to get the good stuff, okay? Really it is. I've seen buds go through that saran wrap type, but rarely. So just buy it. I know it's hard to get, but you can get it on Figbid. I'll try to put the link in there too as well. Okay, this is just pull and wrap. Pull and wrap. Pull and wrap. Okay, we're gonna go right there to cover the bud. All right, perfect. Just like that. Looks good. Now let's do the next one. Start at the tip here. Yeah, you don't want these scions to dry out. Even though they're dormant, they still perspire. And over time, and with all this sun, if they get direct sun for a long time, they'll dry out. So you have to wrap them. Okay, just like that. All right, now our next step is we're going to go make our cuts on our rootstock. All right. Okay, so here is the branch that we are going to be grafting onto, and we're just going to get a little bit of size comparison here. This looks really good. See, it's going to go about right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our cut. And we want to cut it not close to the node, but close to this node, okay? So give us some space. Okay, so we see here, we made our cut. Now we're going to make sure we cut this way and not this way, okay? Because if you go this way, the scion will fall down, especially if something lands on it or a bird. So we want to make sure we cut it this way. It's very important, okay? So I'm gonna do this one-handed. It's a little bit easier to do it this way. And we're gonna go right down the center. And I'm just going to be rocking back and forth. Not too much pressure. Okay, we don't wanna split this thing all the way back to the bud. Just a little bit of pressure, just like that. I can see it's going through. Just kind of look to the side, looks fine, looks pretty even, which is good. Okay, so we're just gonna keep going like that, no rush. Okay, Getting there. Okay, and that looks like it's getting pretty close. I try to match it up to the size I whittled on the scion. Okay, it's probably pretty good right there. So now you can see the opening. Okay, and we have our scion right here. And let's just kind of get a little preview on how it looks. Sorry, my camera is jumping around for some reason. Let's see. Okay, so looks really good right there. So I could probably go just a little bit deeper on this cut. Not too much, but just a little bit. Remember, more contact the better. There's nothing wrong with too much contact. It's probably better. Okay, let's fit it in there now. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, let's go to the other side and take a look. You got to try both sides to make sure. So that is okay. That is okay. It looks like I have both sides pretty much even. I'm gonna try one more. I'm gonna flip it around, and I'm gonna go like this way and see how it looks. So a lot of times when you do this, you'll notice that one side fits perfect, and then you flip it around and try it, and the other way it doesn't. So this side does not match up good. You can just see it. It just doesn't work. So this is the correct way right here. Okay, we're gonna push it all the way in there. Okay. And if you can see, it's kind of hard. It's all matched up really well. Okay, that looks perfect. Our bud is right here. So our branch is gonna go out, this way, which is fine, which is good. So now we're gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna put some more parafilm around it, and then the foil, and that'll be it. Okay, we're getting to the final stages here. We have our grafting band, some of our materials here. So, okay, let's talk about the wrapping it up. You don't need to put 1,000 pounds of pressure here, okay? Because you don't want to smash the cambium layer and how it lines up. You don't want to smash it, because a lot of times that will force it to not connect. I used to do that. I used to put so much pressure on it, and then it wouldn't work. So you just want steady, firm pressure. And as you're going, just make sure it stays lined up, the cambium layer here. And you can also use 2 grafting bands too if you're using thin ones like me. That's not a problem. And if you're curious about when to take the grafting bands off, you don't touch them, okay? They will come off automatically. This size does. Now, if you're talking about some giant bands, you may need to remove them eventually. Or if you're using zip ties or something like that, which people do use. Okay, so that looks good. I see it nice and lined up. It doesn't move. It looks really good. Okay. Now we're gonna finish it up here. And we're gonna wrap it all up. Basically, we're sealing it. Just taking our tape, going around the whole thing here. Just gonna keep wrapping and stretching. We don't want any air to get in there, okay? If you get air in there, you're done. You want to keep it nice and sealed. You can even do this twice. Okay, you don't want any air in there. Especially in this spot right here. You don't want nothing getting in there. The water from rain or nothing. Okay, it's very important. Okay, so we're just gonna keep stretching this around. Stretching it around just like that. And kind of seal it up, press it really firm. Looks really good. This is a cleft graft, okay? I do other grafts, but I really like the cleft graft, and I teach it a lot because I feel like you guys can all do it. Okay, and I feel like this, the end, it's very thin, and I don't want it to push through and dry out. So I'm just gonna add a little bit extra on the end here, just so I don't have any issue there. And the buds poke through the parafilm, so you don't need to worry about anything. Okay, now the foil protects it, because if I left this out within a week, it's gonna start disintegrating because we get a lot of sun and a lot of high temperature here. Once again, I'm in Fresno, California, zone 9B. Okay, and that's it. So a lot of you will ask, well, how do you know what grafts are what on your tree? What I've been doing lately is I'll take a picture, like when I'm done here, I'm gonna take a photo and label it so I have future reference of what graft this is right here without having to worry about paint fading or anything like that. So here is the final graft. Looks great, I can't wait. A lot of you are probably wondering, well, how long does it take to notice? Usually 2 to 3 weeks, you're gonna know if it took.